I have always wanted to hand catch the Karma drone. I hand catch other drones, but the Karma drone has been elusive to me. But it's a skill I've always wanted to do. When you land, sometimes the dust or sand flies all over the place, and you're constantly worried about grip getting into the motors. And so when you land it, you just kind of cross your fingers and hope it doesn't get in there. Also, when you land, if there happen to be a puddle of water, then the water gets blown all over the place again. If it's salt water, it might get into the motors again and decrease the life of the motor. So that's the reason why you really want to hand catch if possible. It started off as a morning, like any morning, where I had wanted to, it was just perfect conditions for flying. And I wanted to fly the drone because we had light winds, less than 5 miles per hour, and we had one of the nicest days we've had for a long while. We've had a bout of rain and thunderstorms and wind, making flying very, very difficult. But on this day, we had really, really good conditions. Karma drone has had issues with connection, and I never had any problems with that. But on this morning, I did have a connection problem. The Karma drone flew its first flight, almost flawless. It went out almost, I didn't really look at it, but I would say maybe about a quarter of a mile. And it performed beautifully. But then on the way back, as I started getting a little worried that the battery was running out, I lost connection. And when the Karma drone loses connection, it does a really neat thing. It returns to home automatically, and it tells you it's doing that. And the strategy is actually a lot easier than my other drones that have sensors on the bottom, including motion sensors, cameras that help to prevent the drone from crashing. They actually make it more difficult to hand catch that drone because it always tries to pull away from your hand. Karma drone doesn't have that type of sensor, so in that way, it makes it a lot safer or a lot more predictable. Typically, you see the Karma drone returning to home, and in this case, home is where it launched from, not where your controller is. And it's returning and coming down gradually. As it was coming down, I actually grabbed the left landing gear. As you noticed, it was coming down gradually, and I wasn't able to control it at that point, but sometimes I am able to control it, and I can actually make it hover for a little while. In this view, you see that the Karma drone comes down fairly quickly, and you do sometimes, and I would say maybe 75% of the time, you regain control of the drone. So when that happens, you can actually slow down the descent of the Karma drone and even hover just right above your head. That's the proper position to hand catch the Karma drone. Not at the chest level, not at the foot level, but just far enough over your head that you can reach and take it out of the sky. Okay, so to summarize everything that we've discussed, number one, it's really a good skill. Hand catching is a great skill for you pilots who fly in kind of distressed areas, like areas with sand and a lot of gravel, maybe salt water, where your drone might be landing, and it's just not convenient for you to land in those areas. And also, if the land is not perfectly flat, if there's grass, tall blades of grass sticking up, maybe there's some small brush that makes landing very difficult. So hand catching works really well in those situations. Some of the risks involved with hand catching is, number one, these props are going through tremendous amounts of revolution. They are in high wind. It blows in all directions, and so those are some of the problems. When the wind is blowing, the Karma drone or any drone starts to teeter-totter, and if you have your hand in the wrong place, like a little bit higher than the landing gear, you're likely to get some severe cuts from the propellers. So that's why I don't recommend hand catching if you feel that your manual dexterity is not very good. But certainly, if you feel confident about your manual dexterity, do so. I encourage you to try it. But again, you do so at your own risk. Just want to let you know that the risk of injury from hand catching is very real. So use it cautiously. I hope this program has helped you. Just watching the way I did it, I always have seen other videos about how people catch their drones, and I always wanted to catch my own Karma drone, but never had the courage. So go ahead and view some of these catches. I did several on this particular day because of the situation, and hopefully it helps you with your attempt to catch your Karma drone or any drone. Thank you very much. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.